Welcome back everyone to more career mode gameplay of SRX, the game. And in today's video, we're headed for race number 2 in our initial exhibition season. But before we get to that, I did want to show you guys the career options. So we talked about this in our very first career video, but I did want to give you guys a breakdown of exactly what options I'm using. And naturally, these are subject to change as we move things forward. And anytime I make a change to these, we'll definitely be talking about it. So we're using expert difficulty as opposed to legend right now, since our car is so terrible as far as the performance. But again, the ultimate goal is to get up to that legend difficulty. Damage will be full damage. Race length for right now is at 100%. Since these races are 30 to 40 laps in the A main, that's not too bad at all. In fact, the longer the race is, the better for me to a certain extent when we consider the YouTube factor and how long we want these videos to be. Now, tire wear I'm leaving at normal, and flags are on relaxed yellow. If we hop over to the driving tab, nearly all of this is identical to what we talked about in one of the first videos I did on SRX about the game options. So we're using no driving assist, and everything under the AI settings is normal with the exception of the incident frequency. And this is about the AI to AI contact, not necessarily the AI to the player type of contact. So we're doing this at less frequent so that we can hopefully have no cautions at all if we can possibly help it, because I want to run all of these laps under green flag conditions as much as we possibly can with no interruptions. So there are the game options. Let's hop back to the main menu. We're going to click on continue exhibition season. All right, so now it's going to give us a few tutorial messages. Let's see. So this is going to show us where we're going next. In this case, Kenyon County, which I remember from Tony Stewart's All-American Racing, and it was a very tough track. It's almost like Martinsville is on the asphalt side of things. You basically have two drag strips with a paperclip type of design. Very difficult to get through the corners, especially with where we are in our car's performance. Then we get to what for us right now is the most important thing, the car condition. This is where we're going to know how good or bad our car is in terms of both reliability as well as performance. Right now we're at 8 out of 8 on performance, and you can see just below that is 7% upgraded. So we got a long way to go before we get anything remotely considering a strong car that can compete with AI on the upper levels of difficulty. So let's continue on. There's our season status. We're in 18th position after just the one event. So that's what it looks like here on the main screen. Now, I would love to go into manage company, maybe hire employees, upgrade our car, and so on. But right now, it's just not letting us do a whole lot of that. Let's see what we can do. Now, granted, top right-hand corner, $1,236, and we have 84 fans. So $1,236, probably not going to let us do very much, but let's just take a look briefly and see exactly what we're up against as far as the cost. So you notice that right now we have the performance of 2 and durability of 10% with our standard steel block. But if we go all the way to at least the end of level 1, this is $28,755. And it is a high precision steel combo block, and it's going to give us a performance of 10 with a durability of 80%. Now, both of those numbers are very important. Durability is going to tell us how many races we should be able to get before we have to do any repairs, and of course that means spending more money. But if we hop over to level 3, you can see it is going to get vastly more expensive. Now, obviously, we got some upgrades to do on our facility before we can get there, but even though it's grayed out, you can see $152,000 will get us to a 30 out of 30 performance and full 100% durability. So not necessarily saying we're going to get all the way to that number, but that is what we're looking for if we want to upgrade the engine. All right, if we hop down to, let's look at the tires, because from previous games, the tires have been the cheapest to get upgraded quite nicely. And sure enough, if we go over to level 3, again, these are all grayed out because we got some upgrades before we can get here, but $34,245 would be the max 30 out of 30 on performance and 100% durability for the tires. So much cheaper than what we saw with the engine. So we could go over the others, but we'll save that for another time, because right now what we're really interested in is what sort of upgrades could we get. And right now for $1,000 we could get 4 out of 10, or for $750 we could get 5 out of 10. But again, notice the differences in durability. For right now, we're not going to upgrade anything because we're just trying to get a lay of the land. We're trying to earn some money over these first few races before we decide where we want to go. But in all likelihood, it's appearing as though tires are our best bet for initial shot in the arm for additional performance. All right, so right now nothing needs repairing. We are at max durability and condition right now for our parts. Then we look at our schedule. Again, so it looks like we have 3. I initially thought he had said 4 in this initial exhibition system, but it looks like we only have 3 events. So Kenyon County is number 2. And then after that, we're going to Jacobs County for our final race of this initial session. And it's a 3rd mile with a little bit more banking than what we've been dealing with so far. All right, so let's hop back over to the next event screen, and I think everything's ready to go. Let's head to Kenyon County. After practice and qualifying, things look pretty bleak for us right now. We qualified 39th out of 40 cars, so we'll be in heat number 3, starting last. Yeah, this is no good at all. I just had no grip. I tried a couple of the setups. Again, we're still using the recommended setups or the default setups. 25% loose is what I'll go with, but nothing feels good at all. This is one of those tracks that I definitely would need my own setup at, because the rear end was just sliding all over the place, no grip whatsoever. And of course, that's not necessarily all the setup. That is about the condition of our car, the performance of our car, and this is one place that will expose that quicker than probably any other track, given the nature of the track. So this is going to be a complete struggle. We did okay at Durango Park. We were able to make it into the A main. We did very well by my expectations, but today this is going to be a struggle. All right, so once again, top 5 advance to the A main. Wow, this is going to be interesting to see how we're going to be able to do in the heat race as well as the B main, because, well, you can hear it in my voice. I'm already expecting very much to be in that B main. So I'm going to try to hug this bottom. And the car was just sliding all over the place earlier. So what I'm going to try to do is just try a few different things. A few different ways of driving the car. I know how I want to drive the car from the previous game, but I just don't have the grip to do what I want to do here. The car is just everywhere. So we're just going to make do as best we can. And right now, nothing I want this car to do will it actually do. And you can see these guys are leaving us in the dust. So that corner, I completely missed what I wanted the car to do. Yeah, this is aggravating me to no end. And of course, what makes this much worse is the fact that I have zero feel in the steering wheel. I, for the life of me, cannot figure out how this continues to get by them as developers. Or maybe they just don't care. I don't know. But there is zero feel in this steering wheel right now. It might as well not even be a force feedback wheel. Again, just like I mentioned before, other than a few canned effects for bumps, which are definitely canned, other than that, we've got nothing. You can see the leader just blow by us there, and we're on lap 7. So I'm going to try to get out of the way right now. We're in no danger of passing any cars, so I'm just trying to get out of everybody's way and let them race it out for the remainder of this race. But yeah, we need force feedback of some sort in this game. But not anything that I feel like is going to be fixed anytime soon because it's been in the previous games, and we're looking at the same issue here as well. Okay, so 10th position. Now, not too much worried about the heat race. The B main is what I'm most interested in. This is going to tell us, do we have any speed, or are we just going to finish last at this track all together? So if you're wondering, as we head back to the garage area, I do want to explain a little bit about where my frustration comes from with this game. All right, so I don't do standard review type videos because I believe that the best thing I can do for people is simply give you my honest opinion and let you know where I'm coming from, because everybody is going to have a different opinion about what they enjoy or don't enjoy about various games. Some people will love this game and every part of it and can't wait for more. Other people, like me, come from a little different area. So where I come from is from the simulation side. I've been playing sim games for absolute ever. And I know this is not a simulation, but there are certain things that I know could be so much better. It's simply a choice that's been made by the developers not to. And that's what gets to me. So, and we'll talk about that more when I start to release maybe a few setups for the SRX cars. We'll talk about that in more detail. And by the way, the first one should be coming within the next week, if not a little bit earlier than that. Just depends on how my timing goes around my work schedule. But like the lack of force feedback, it is so minimal in my wheel that I feel like there's no way that nobody noticed that for the last 3 games now, this being the third one in the series. But it always seems like there's one car in the game that has pretty decent force feedback. It has a good feel to it, and then the others are either minimal feel at all or lackluster at best. And that's what frustrates me, because I know where they're getting the physics. I know where they're getting the baseline for this. And I'm like, why can't you just work on that and fix that in between these games, but nothing ever happens? So that's where I'm coming from. And that's why I get so frustrated, because there's so much potential here, and yet nobody seems to really care. And that's the feel I get. I'm not saying they don't actually care. I have no doubt that they do. They're probably some very passionate developers. It's just not coming forward to me as the end user in the final product. But that's my source of frustration. There's simply a lot of frustration, but there's a lot to enjoy about the game, and career mode is one of those things. So that's what I'm trying to focus on as much as possible. So now that I've gotten that off my chest, I can't say that I won't come back to it at certain points, because when it gets to a certain level, I just need to get it off my chest. But we're not going to harp on that as much going forward. So now the B main, this is what I'm excited to find out about. I know we're going to struggle. I know the car's going to slide all over the place. However, do we finish last, or do we have the ability to actually hang in there with some of these cars, and maybe instead of finishing 20th, maybe finish 15th or 16th or something like that? I just want to have some competition given where we are right now with our cars. So with that in mind and all of that out of the way, let's get to racing.
Top 5 finishers in this last chance qualifier will advance to the A main. Good luck out there.
All right, so the last chance qualifier, at least in this division, the B main is the last chance qualifier. Those of you familiar with dirt racing in real life know that sometimes you can get into a real alphabet soup for some events, trying to work your way into the A main. All right, here we go. And you're going to hear me trying to work this throttle and really trying to stay off the other car. That's going to be easier said than done here at this track, because there's not a lot of room really for racing. All right, let's get this thing rode down. I feel like I have to bring it to a stop going into the corner in order to actually do that. But once again, trying to stay to the bottom as best I can. Looks like everybody's starting to get stretched out a little bit. Single file and so on. Missed my mark there. And now we're just spinning the wheels. So we're in 17th right now, so we're not last and losing touch with everybody, so that's good. That is good. All right, that last corner was terrible. But this is what happens when either the setup and or, in this case, the performance of the car don't match Ouch. So we got a little love tap there from behind. That knocked us completely out of the way, so good move on his part if we're going to fight like that for 17th position. But yeah, the car ends up, it's just totally disconnected from the track. No speed and no grip whatsoever. So it's going to be fun to see how this setup, if we're still using these setups, by the time we get a much more upgraded car in this series, and we come back to this track, see how this setup performs. We'll see. By then I may have worked out some, at least, starter setups on my own that I want to use rather than using these types of setups. We are right here on this guy for 16th. I mean, we are on him. That's the one that just nudged us out of the way to get this position. And we got, what, about 5 more laps to get him. Oh, they caught me. They caught me going a little bit too low there in the corner. And that's where they put in some of those nice bumps to mess us up. Makes sense. If I were at track, that's exactly what I would do if there was an area I did not want guys using. All right, we've gotten position on him, and we're doing pretty good, comparatively speaking. Again, I'm trying to use this bottom. Okay, we're clear for now. Let's see if we can have a good set of corners and actually make this up position. That feels like a win to me. It's almost like we're in the top 5 now after pulling off a pass like that. You take any little victory you can get back here. Anything to take your mind off of how slow you really are. All right, so where are we? Oh, final lap. Yikes. Didn't even realize we were quite that far along. I remember saying, hey, we're about 5 laps to go, and that seemed like about 10 seconds ago. All right, so there you have it. 16th position. I will take that. And we didn't even get lapped. How about that? That seems odd. I mean, that seems like the mercy rule is in effect toward us, that the game didn't even have the fastest AI come by and lap us. Not that we were all that far from it, but we did not finish last, 16th position. So let's see how much money that gets us. All right, race results. 36th. Yes, we're well aware. I appreciate you though. And B main. Oh, so you're not going to show me the money on this screen? Okay. I guess not. I was thinking that we got one more screen in there that showed us the money, but we will take it. Compared to where we started this weekend with the heat race and the qualifying and all of that, I am very happy with 36th position. So with that out of the way, that is 2 races now into our exhibition season. And now we have 1 more before we'll start our first full-time campaign in the 305. So that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and stick around for more career mode gameplay of SRX, the game.